the tangent homework and looking at number 7, when it says to express the tangents of A and B as ratios in simplest form, when you hear ratio, you should think divide, you should think fraction. I'm dividing something, and my answer should resemble a fraction. That's what a ratio is. I am not going to press the tangent button at all. We did one in our warm-up a lot like this, the tangent of A. So I look at angle A. This is where Bob is, or Edgar. I want what's opposite of A, which is 40, and then I want what's adjacent to A, which is 9. What you had to write in your notes yesterday was opposite over adjacent, and you just follow that rule over and over. What's the tangent of B? 9 over 40, because opposite of B is 9, and adjacent to B, adjacent to B is 40. We don't use the 41, because it's the hypotenuse. So it can't be the adjacent one because it's the hypotenuse. Number 12, when you solve a problem like this, you want to always begin by writing your equation. You write the word tan, in parentheses, you put the angle. That's the only thing allowed in the function. You have to put the angle every time. By the way, if in the future, if you're given 2 angles, you just pick one of them. It doesn't matter which one you pick. That's going to be where you're standing. That's your perspective. So our perspective is at 26. What is opposite of 26? 6. What's adjacent to 26? X. Then you ask yourself, where is X? There's 3 scenarios. Numerator, denominator, or in the trig function. In this case, it's denominator. That's an alliteration. Denominator divide. 6 divided by tan 26. Yes, you have to put the number first, not the trig function. The number, the side length first. Number 15, you start just like we started the previous one. You write tan. Then in parentheses, the only thing ever allowed is the angle. Angle only. Nothing else allowed. Now we're standing at that angle. Here's our perspective. To us, what is opposite? 8 is opposite, and 13 is adjacent. We were nice to you. We didn't put other numbers on there to confuse you. I mean, you had the opposite and the adjacent given to you only. All right, how do you get X out of the trig function? The opposite of tangent is inverse tangent. So you press second, tan, and then you type 8 divided by 13. Number 16, find the measure of angle D. Okay, so the thing about trig is that there's usually 3 things involved. 2 sides and 1 angle. 3 things. To do trig, you have to know 2 out of those 3 things. So you have to have 2 pieces of information, whether it's 2 sides or a side and an angle. You have to have 2 pieces in order to find a missing side or angle. Now, if I look at triangle BCD, I'm trying to find angle D. I don't have 2 things. I have 24, and that's all I have. I can't do trig with simply a side length. It's not enough information. So I'm going to look over at this triangle, triangle ABC. And in this triangle, I have 2 things. I can do trigonometry and find out everything I want to about the pink triangle. Everything. Now, the only thing that matters to me, the only thing that the pink shares with the green is this side right here. I'll call it A. That's not a 9, it's an A. Okay? Once I know A, then I'll know 2 things about the green triangle and I'll be able to solve for X. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to go quickly because I've already explained all the other ones in depth. Tan of 32 equals opposite over adjacent. That's in the numerator, so we're going to multiply 36 times tan 32. So we go to our calculator. 36 tan 32, and we get 22.4952, blah, blah, blah. Now, don't round it yet. We don't want to round as we go, because then we get further and further away from the right answer. So I'm going to keep quite a few decimal places until I get to the very end. I can even just keep it sitting in my calculator and use it in my next step, okay? I'm going to keep it sitting here. Alrighty, so now I'm going to work in the green triangle. I'll use green for green triangle. Tan of, what's my angle? You could call it D or X, equals opposite over adjacent. opposite over adjacent. And so x is in the tan function. I'm going to do second tan. So I'm going to do second tan, and then I can grab my last answer. I can push answer divided by 24, or I can type in the 22. It's up to you. And you get 43 degrees. Number 18, the angle created by the horizontal. You need to know what a horizontal is. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical. By the horizontal and straight line distance from the top of the shorter building to the top of the taller one is 20 degrees. That is a fancy way of saying that this angle is 20. Horizontal and the straight line distance. There we go. How far apart are the two buildings? How far apart are the two buildings? Remember to do trig. To do trig, you need two pieces of information. Right now, I only have 20 degrees. That's all I have. So I need to use the 80 of the taller building, the 68 of the smaller one, and I need to subtract them. 80 minus 68. Now we have two things. We have 12, and we have that 20 degrees. Tan of 20 equals opposite over adjacent. Denominator divide. 12 divided by tangent of 20.